working, I try to look very deep within myself to reach to a sort of core point. In fact, it is to reaching a point which then becomes a conceptual point. We live life on so many different levels, and painting for me is a way to connect to this and to find expression. It's a way of finding one's way in the dark. Because in a way, the real world is a dark world, and it is this inner world with its own lights and its own milestones. You know, just like the psychoanalytic process, you know, you begin with something, you say something which means nothing, and then that reverberates into something. And before you know it, you're hitting on the very pulse of what you really want to say. Really, when I'm working, half the time I'm just, you know, tickling it here and there and provoking it a little bit until I start seeing something in it. And when I do, it's a very gradual process. And when I do, I want to catch it, and then I catch it really fast. So before it goes, and that's the most delicious moment. The space in my work has always been bordering on like dream and reality, on super reality, inner reality. And this one is called The Bottle Within. It's about things which are inside and inside and inside these containers, and how they can spill something all through and soak and seep through everything. Take the concept of the house as a home and then abstract the meaning of that in as simplified a way as it can get, as a shape, a simple encompassing shape like a beehive, and it is seen as something which is the provider of grounding and security, because it goes around you, and at the same time as something that's restricted. The dilemma between security and freedom, and the dilemma between worlds, of belonging to many worlds, and having roads and inroads cutting through and cutting out. This is a monoprint about 2 homes, which each one is its own world. It has its own sky, it has its own shape around it. It's almost like when you're here, nothing else exists, but then it has a little bit of exit and entry points, though they're only apparent, you can't really get in them. Being a woman has always been very important for me. I've always wanted to do something which worked for me, which reached deep down into what I was about. And being a woman is completely central to this. I think from the very beginning I was told that my work was very relaxed in being feminine in a way. Being a mother has been a very, very important, it's got everything to do with my work now. And my son, who's 6 years old, has given me just so much warmth. He's just like filled color into my work. And actually, to be honest, seeing his work has changed my work.
What's that?
That's like a magic basket.
No, I want to show you the one that I love the most.
I think when I was expecting my child, I was very aware of my body, and my body from the inside. And I started doing pictures about a sort of interior womb. Now that my son is older and he paints a lot himself, so now what is happening is that I'm actually influenced by his artwork, which is a really wonderful thing, because I see how freely children work, and with how they can live the moment, which is something we have to, as artists, really learn how to do that again and again, relearn that. You know what it says? Shall I read it?
What?
It says, sea monster in the water. Oh, I know.
Oh, I know. This is the sea monster.
I see myself as a very contemporary person but a contemporary person who's had a different passage in a way. I began off in a certain culture, in a certain framework, and I've moved from that in a way into other landscapes. I studied painting in India in a place called in Baroda, and what was unique about this place was I think it was very open. It was open to art from the whole world, and in that sense it was open to what was happening in the West today. You know, it was open to contemporary trends, and I think this was very important for me. Along with this, we actually studied Indian aesthetics and we studied Indian traditional painting. I take my position as somebody who's from India, who has a grounding in Indian art, in Indian philosophy, in the Indian way of life philosophy, I would add. And then I'm exposed to see art from the rest of the world, and I make connections with art from the rest of the world in the way it's relevant to me. This is a picture of different worlds and how this bird can fly from one world to the other. And the worlds are things you can go inside of and live on the outside, and how the sky is on the inside of the world, and it can almost be like organs of the body. You know, in terms of doing the work that I do, I mean, it's small, it's delicate, it's private, it's not loud. In many ways, it doesn't fit in what's happening in the contemporary world. And I like to see myself as one of these, one of these people who are not the mainstream, but one of these people who can pierce through the mainstream, you know, like a dart of acid through it, you know. Painting is something like that, that once you find a connection with it, it's like the most amazing thing, because it's like this mirror with which you can see yourself. It's like a way you can balance yourself, a way you can find yourself like you never have before. My deepest wish would be that this miracle that happens when I paint, that this miracle can happen.